What's going on, shooters? Welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk specifically about how to read screens off of the ball. In other videos, we might talk about using on-ball screens, but in this video, I'm going to give you all the best tips on how to become a great scorer and player using screens off of the ball. Let's jump into it. Okay, the most common screen in basketball off the ball is going to be a simple down screen, but these principles will work with any type of off-ball screen. Let's jump into a down screen and how you can become a better player using the screen off the ball. This chair is going to be our screener. The first step to becoming a great player off the ball and using screens is going to be to sprint to the screen. But we don't want to jog here. We want to create some initial separation from our defender. So I'm going to plant, perhaps get into him a little bit, don't get an offensive foul, and then I'm going to sprint as hard as I can. Once I get to the screen, I want to slow down, both mentally and physically, and I want to think about how is my defender going to guard this? There's two ways that he can guard it. Number one, he's going to stay on my hip. And as I come off of this, his body is stuck to mine, and I can feel him on my hip. The second way is that he's going to shoot the gap. We'll call him a gapper. Those are the two ways. Shooting the gap would mean as I come off of this, he's shooting down the middle through the screen and he's shooting the gap. So we will go over both methods and how to score against both types of defenses. Okay, I've sprinted to the screen. I can feel him on my hip now as I start to read the screen. And I know he's going to be trailing me. He's going to be locked in. What I want to do here is look to curl. So I want to curl around the screen like a C shape. I'm going to stop and I want to come off as tight as possible, coming off of my teammate's shoulder, not leaving any room for the defender to get by. So I want to stop here and I'm coming off tight. Doesn't have to be fast because now I know my defender's behind me. I need to be under control and as tight as possible coming off of my teammate, and I'm looking to curl. Once I get to this point, I know that defender is behind me. Hopefully you have a good passer that also reads that, and he's going to lead you to the basket. So we're getting led, we show a lead hand, and as that pass comes, we're curling, and we can get right into our shot. Now, if you don't have a shot right away, here's some counters that I want you to think about. First of all, it's going to be what I call the bump back. As we come off of this, we're tight. We get the ball. We know the defender's on our hip. Maybe we're worried about him blocking it. Go ahead and give me a little bump back. Now we've created more room. We've pushed him off of us. Now maybe one dribble we can get into our shot. That's an option. We can also do an escape dribble. So we're here, he's on our back, and a quick escape into a sidestep into a shot should create that separation as well. So be physical with the guy that's guarding you. Use the bump back to create more space and to get a better feel of where he's at and where you can get your shot off. You need to have a variety of finishes in your game that you can use against the defender. So here's a few of them. We can talk about an underhand floater, overhand floater. If he's on our inside hip, we can use our offhand, in this case, our left hand. We can also talk about pivoting and using step throughs. So maybe I use an escape dribble side step. Now the defender's on top of us and we're stepping through. So when you work on your game, do not come down and shoot the exact same finishes going against the curl. I want you to imagine the defender playing you different ways and work on different finishes so that you can score no matter how the defense is defending you. Hold on just 1 second before we continue. If you've learned anything in this video, if you've liked anything that I've taught, hit the subscribe button right now. Okay, now you've scored a few times with him trailing you on your hip and the coach has yelled at him to shoot the gap. Stop letting you do that. So we have to adjust. What we want to do now is to fade. Instead of curling, we're going to plant our top foot, plant it, reverse pivot, and we're fading away from the screen, away from the defender. Now the defender has to go all the way around the screen and then all the way at us. So we're planting, reverse pivoting, fading away, and we look to catch it. Now, once we've caught it here, we're using the same type of finishes that we used when we curled. Have a variety of finishes in your game so you don't have to rely on one type of shot. Again, let's use the bump back. So we caught it here. We know the defender's coming here. I'm going to go into him. Boom. Create more space. Maybe I create that space and I get to a one dribble pull-up. And I get inside the lane into a floater or a pull-up. Use the different finishes that we've talked about so that you can get your shot off no matter how the defender is playing you. Okay, to summarize what we've learned in this video, number one, sprint to the screen. Create initial separation, sprint to the screen. Next, stop, slow down, and see how the defender is playing you. He's either going to be on your hip or he's going to be shooting the gap. After you know how he's playing you, that will tell you how you're going to react to the screen. If he's on your hip, you're going to curl tight, shoulder to shoulder, and use a variety of finishes. If he's shooting the gap, then you're going to fade, and again, use the variety of finishes, use the bump back to create that space to get into your scoring. If you've learned anything in this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. I post videos every single week about basketball shooting, basketball training, and your overall mentality as a person and as a player. My goal on this channel is to make you the best player that you can become. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you on the next video.